Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Krendor, and today I'm going to be talking about the Beasts of Chaos Battletome. It's here, it's been fantastic, I've had access to it for about a month now, and I've gotten to play around with it, I've gotten the list build, I've gotten to really just learn everything about this Battletome, and it is everything that I think Beasts of Chaos players have been waiting for. It's blown me away, man. It's so good. Sadly, I don't have a physical copy yet. Games Workshop only sent me the early access copy, which, by the way, thank you to Games Workshop for sending me an early access copy of the Beasts of Chaos Battletome. And I've went ahead and created some amazing Microsoft Paint slideshows here. Now, here's the thing. I don't do this normally. I know there's some really good army breakdown people, like AOS Coach is probably the best one. I always check out AOS Coach. In fact, I'm not going to cover every single thing. I'm going to be mainly going over stuff that I've played and have experience with, which is pretty much the majority of the army here. But if you want probably a better in-depth breakdown, I would probably go over to AOS Coach. He is that, and he does a great job. But if you want wacky, wild, fun time, you've come to the right place. So let's kick it off with Allegiance abilities. First off, you get a full army ambush, and General gets command point off table. So you can deep strike your entire army. Your entire army can ambush in. I didn't actually put this here, I forgot, but they also get +1 to their charge rolls. So when you come in from off the board, you get +1 to your charge roll. And unlike in the old Battletome, where you could only come in on turn 1, you can now come in on turn 2 as well. But that's it, not turn 3. Turn 3, if you're off board, you're dead. So, fantastic ability. Maybe a little too strong from my experiments testing this out, but, after dealing with, years of Beast of Chaos being trash, it has been fantastic. Now, they have been better recently, but not in, like, a fun way, you know what I mean? Like, I would play Beast of Chaos, and they'd be like, yo, you're not running Dragon Ogre spam or, like, Bulgor spam? What are you doing? Right? That was literally it. So, that's pretty much the main Allegiance abilities. Like, you can ambush your entire army. It gets +1 to charge when it comes in on turn 1 or 2, whenever you choose to come in, and then your general can generate command points while he's in ambush. So that's great, because normally he has to be on the table. The other big thing you get, which is kind of an Allegiance ability, is Rituals of Ruin. So these are like heroic actions, okay? So every time you carry out heroic actions, you can, in addition, do these rituals, okay? So every hero you have can do it, and they have to suffer D3 mortal wounds in order to do these. Or if they're near units, they can make that pack of units take D3 mortal wounds instead. These are also not negatable. Like, you have to take these, okay? And you're allowed 1 off-board Ritual of Ruin, which is absolutely insane. So here's why. So the first Ritual of Ruin you can do is an enemy within 12 inches takes D6 mortal wounds. So essentially, you take D3 mortal wounds, and they take D6. By the way, the amount of times I have hurt myself for D3 mortal wounds and taken the 3 mortal wounds is like 75%. This is actually insane, because we are now entering the Galician champion meta, which everybody's got their foot heroes, and they're like, they're safe by my group of battle line, right? And now it's just like, oh, I'm off board. Your guy takes D6 mortal wounds. Oh, 5 mortal wounds, he's dead. Oh, you thought he was protected by those battle line? He's not, he's dead. Like, it's actually insane. Like, I don't even know, like, how it made it into this, but it has. It's here. So, like, hey, it's great. Also, there's enemy within 12 inches makes a 2d6 move towards you. So I believe this is what the old Great Bray Shaman thing used to be, kind of. But essentially, you can pick one of their things and go, hey, that's like taunted towards me. It's like a taunt. right? So this is really cool if you want to like pull something off of an objective. Say your opponent like just put a pack of stuff on the objective, and say you use your one off-board ritual, and the objective's kind of, you know, near the off-board, they're kind of hovering, and you roll your 2d6, and it's like, oh, 7. I guess your clan rats have to move 7 inches towards the edge of the board, and then they move off the objective. So that's pretty fun. Then we also have a hero gains a 6+ ward bubble, so everything within 12 inches, wholly within 12, gets a 6+ ward, so that's kind of nice if you're packing your hero into a big group of stuff. And then you also have units wholly within 12 don't take battle shock, or one unit wholly within 12 doesn't take battle shock. You pick a unit, say you got a pack of like, I don't know, 30 gores, right? You got 20, 30 gores. You say that unit doesn't have to take battle shock. So if they die, you don't have to worry about it. Don't have to command point, don't have to do whatever. It's just, it is what it is. Maybe you even make those gores take D3 mortal wounds, and then they don't have to take battle shock, right? So these are insanely strong. You can only do them in your hero phase. So that's important to know. You can't do it in your opponent's hero phase. Otherwise, that would be insane, just constantly doing D6 mortal wounds. So that's another important note I didn't write on this list. There's also the bull man I drew there. Yeah. So that's those are the allegiance abilities. Now we will move on to the... Oh, God, this is like running a PowerPoint. Okay, next we have... command traits, okay? Command traits. So, these are the command traits. They're pretty fantastic. Let me move myself a bit. Here we are. I don't know why I put the Great Bray Shaman in this list, because I should have put him on something else, but whatever. So, one Beast of Chaos unit can deep strike 7 inches. This is actually insane. I think I've taken this one every game I've played, because, think about it. You already get +1 from your charging on ambush, right? So you deep strike 7 inches away, so you only need a 6-inch charge. And if you're doing this with like Bullgores, Bestigores, Gores, I think those are the main 3, you're getting +1 to charge. So you only need a 5-inch charge anywhere on the map. You essentially get a 5-inch charge anywhere you want. You have to be obviously 7 inches away from something, but you know, why not? Like, it's really strong. It's very strong. The other ones are, General can carry out second Ritual of Ruin for free, which is always kind of nice. Especially being able to say, like, you know, I'm going to do my D6 mortal wounds, right? Or I'm going to give my units around me a 6+ ward. That's pretty nice. It is pretty cool. So both of those pretty good. Then we have General within 3 inches of enemy adds 1 to melee attacks of Brayhard, not Brayhard, Brayhard, man. Wholly within 12. This one's okay, but I think the other ones are a little better. Then there's add number of current battle round to casting rolls for General. This one is actually insane, because you just put it on a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and you get to like round 3. And then you're like, oh, hey, I'm +3 to cast. And then, you know, if he's still there in round 4 and 5, you're just like, oh, I'm +5 to cast this round. Like, you're at that point, you're just a better caster than everybody in the game. At +5 to cast, like, it's actually insane. So, really good, like, insanely good. And then, start of combat, every enemy within 3 inches takes D3 on a 2-up. It's okay. Like, whatever. I'd rather have any of the other ones. And then... General on the battlefield adds 3 inches to move characteristic of Beast of Chaos units within 6 inches of terrain. Cool. I'm going to be deep striking for the most part anyway, so I don't really care. I would say the first 4 are probably the best, with 1, 2, and 4 being ideal. From my point of view. I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, I'm just like I play a lot of casual games. So, next up, we have the Artifacts of Power. Artifacts of Power. Hold on, let me move over a little bit here. There we go. That's my Dragon Ogre, as you can clearly tell, that I drew. So we have on a charge, 1 enemy within 1 inch is last striked on a 2+. This one is the one I've taken every time because it's insane. You put it on your Doom Bull, you charge in, and on a 2-up, they last strike, and then you charge in all your other shit, and you just blow it up. That it? That's it. Like, it's insane. You just give something last strike. And then you have Gores last striking on a 3-up. So you put this on a Doom Bolt, then you have Gores charging in. Their whole army's fighting last. It's actually insane. So that one's really good. You can also do 1 melee weapon on your, hero you put this on. It ignores ward saves. So, I mean, it's not bad. Ignoring ward saves is always good, especially with everybody in the game having ward saves at this point. There's an artifact to summon 10 Gore, Ungor, or Ungor Raiders once per game on a 2+, and if it's a 1, they arrive a turn later. So the way this works is when you summon it in, if you get it, you can set them up on the board edge as if they're ambushing in. But if not, if you roll the 1, you do the same thing at the end of the movement phase, but on your next turn. So say you're on turn 2, and you're at the end of the movement phase, you don't get them that turn, you have to wait till turn 3. So it's not like Dryads, right, where the Lady of Vines is like, I rolled a 1, I guess I don't get my Dryads today. Like, they should honestly change that Dryad rule and, like, a lot of summoning stuff to this, because this is actually really nice, because trying to summon in a pack of units that is, like, a big part of your War Scroll or whatever, and then rolling a 1 and just not getting it, like, I'm going to use my once per game thing to summon 10 of something, and then you just fail it. It's like, I guess I don't. Like, at least if it's, a turn later, it's still a negative. Like, you still are like, man, I wish I had him this turn, but you still get to do that thing. So I really like that they did this, and I hope they do it, or update it for things like the Lady of Vines. If you take first turn, get bonus command point. If second, bearer moves 6 inches in hero phase. So essentially, if you go first, you get a bonus command point. Your general does to spend. And then if you go second, your person with this artifact can move 6 inches in the hero phase. So, pretty nice. It's not bad, but still, probably taking the last strike one. I guess it depends. Obviously you're not going to charge in last strike with a Great Bray Shaman, right? So maybe this is something you take on the Great Bray Shaman. So he's going to give you bonus command points, and then maybe if he's in danger, he gets to move in the hero phase, and then he gets to move again in the movement phase. So that is really nice. In fact, would he be able to move twice? I think... Hold on. I'm going to double check, because now I'm curious. It is... Beep, beep, beep. Hold on. Hold. That's command traits. Hold. Here we are. If you take the first turn in the current battle round, after the players have received their starting command points, you receive 1 command point that can only be spent during the turn to allow the bearer to issue a command. If you take the second turn in the current battle round, after the players have received their starting command points, the bearer can make a normal move of up to 6. Okay, so yeah. Still pretty nice. Then you can also take a 4+ spell ignore. Neat. And then end of movement, pick objective or terrain within 6 inches. On a 2-up, each unit within 6 takes D3 mortal wounds. This seems like okay, that's pretty nice, but there are so many things you can stack this with. So the Cygors now have a prayer that does this exact type of thing. You have a spell with this current, season that allows you to do like D6 mortal wounds to everybody in your opponent. I mean, you can literally just like nuke a point with all these different things. So there is some crazy possibilities there. So overall, like, pretty solid. Then we have Brayherd Wizard spells. All right, let me... Oh, God. Here we are. Brayherd Wizard spells. I'm going to go back down here. There we are. Casting value 6, 12 inches. Enemy takes D3, can't receive commands that turn. It's pretty good. Just being like, you take mortal wounds and you can't use commands. Neat. Casting value 5, range 18. Enemy can't make pile-ins until next hero phase. It's pretty good. Casting value 5, range 18. Enemy monsters count as 1 for objective, or monster counts as 1 for objectives and can't monstrous rampage. So you essentially nerf a monster down to a point where he doesn't count for anything on a point. Gargants and shambles. In fact, the Sons of Behemat, if you're going up against Sons of Behemat, who are already terrible in this edition of the GHB, and then they get this on them, Like, man. Casting value 7, range 12. Enemy takes 1 damage from all melee until next hero phase. This is the one I've been using because it's insane. Not only is something last striked, it's now taking +1 damage from every melee weapon hitting it. Yup. It's insane. Casting value 7, range 12. 6s hit twice. So you just pick a unit and their 6s hit twice. Pretty good. And then casting value 6, range 12. You pick a Beast of Chaos monster and it gets +1 to its melee attacks, which is good. Then we have Thunderscorn spells. Casting value 6, range 21. Pick an enemy within range. Have their move, run, charge until next hero phase. It's pretty good. Anytime you lower somebody's movement, I would say that is pretty good. Let me move again. We have casting value 6, range 18. Subtract 1 from attacks of melee weapons to target a Beast of Chaos unit until the next hero phase. It's okay. Casting value 5, 3-inch range. Each unit within range takes D3 mortal wounds. It's okay. Casting value 6, range 18. Subtract 1 from missile weapons in range of the caster, to a minimum of 1. Again, that's okay. You're going up against like big range shooting, I guess, but still, like, and then casting value 8. Heal 1 wound to each Thunderscorn and deal 1 mortal wound to every enemy unit. So that's right. The entire board takes a mortal wound. So this is insane because I actually ran one list that I crafted up, which was you take the battle round equals the casting roll. So you're, +1 to casting on your Dragon Ogre Shaggoth from round 1. So you're casting this on a 7 pretty much. Then the next round you're casting this on a 6. Then you're casting it on a 5 in round 3. And then, at the later round, as long as you're not rolling extremely terribly, you're just getting this off. So you're just doing, like, chip mortal wounds to everybody and healing yourself and other Dragon Ogres. That's actually an insane spell. So honestly, that one, and then I think the having move, run, charge is really good. Then we have the sub-factions. Here they are. Whoop, let me go back over here. We have Great Fray, which is return D3 +3 slain models to each friendly Gore, Ungor, and Ungor Raider unit at the end of the Battle Shock phase. So kind of like Clan Rats, but better. You just get to bring back D3 +3. So you're bring back 4 to 6 Gore, Ungor, and Ungor Raider units at the end of the Battle Shock. That's for all of them, not just one. Every single one. It is at the end of the Battle Shock, though, so you have to survive the Battle Shock phase. But still, it's really good. But some of these other ones are also good. End of movement, Gore, Ungor, and Ungor Raider unit wholly within 9 inches of an edge, board edge, can teleport to different edge 9 inches away from enemies. So essentially, if you ambush in, you do something, and then the next turn, you're like, you know what? I'm still within 9 inches of that board edge, and I did what I had to do. Maybe you took an objective, right? Maybe you did the one battle tactic where you have to take the terrain feature in your opponent's territory. They do that. Now they're stuck there. It's like, what do? It's like, well, they just teleport. So they go up, and then they go to a different board edge. And that's what this does. So also pretty strong. Gave Spawn gives you gibbering congregations. I actually don't know much about this. I haven't really played it. I don't really know much about Chaos Spawns. I do believe they showed this off on the Warhammer community thing. So if you want to see more on that, probably go look it up. AOS Coach probably talks about it. I don't know a lot. And then Quake Fray, my favorite one. So Quake Fray makes Cygors into priests, and they have a prayer that on a 3-up, you pick an objective within 12 inches, and each unit within 6 inches of that objective take D3 mortal wounds, and models count as half for contesting that objective, rounding down. So that's insane, because there needs to be an FAQ, because that would mean if your unit counts as 1 and it's rounded down, wouldn't that mean it counts as 0? There's nothing that says to a minimum of 1 on this spell. So it's a little, like, confusing. I don't know if I would say that. I don't think I would say that's a rule, but, like, because if you count a model as 1 as half, it's 0.5, and then you round down, so wouldn't it be 0? I don't know. Either way, this is still a busted prayer. It's insane. It makes Cygors crazy, and they're already better. So, Cygor priests, and in Quake Fray, your Cygors and Gorgons are battle lines. So you can have 4 Cygors and Gorgons, and then 3 more Behemoths. So you can have an entire monster army, which is fantastic because that's something I've wanted forever. Just to run big beast monsters. You know what I mean? So that's that. It's fantastic. I usually I like Quake Fray. Honestly, I like all of them, except I haven't really played around with Gave Spawn, but it still could be good, so I don't know. So then we have our final thing, which is the Herdstone is still here, and it's still doing what it did. Melee rend improved by 1 and then by 2, although the rounds have been moved up. So it used to be from the White Dwarf update rounds 1 and 3. Now it is rounds 2 and 4. So it is slightly nerfed, but still insane. Especially because now you can ambush at turn 2, so you get the improved rend anyway, if you just wait a bit. And by round 4, you're still -2 rend across your entire army, in addition to whatever your rend is. So, it's insane. And now, we move on to the units. So, I haven't done all the units. I've just done the ones, again, that I've mainly played with. So, we have the Beast Lord. So, he has +1 to his wounds. He used to be 5. He's now up to 6. He's 5 attacks, 3/3, -1 for 2 damage. He used to be 1 damage. And 6s to hit do mortal wounds equal to his weapon damage. So each 6 to hit does 2 mortal wounds. Brayherd can fight after he fights in the combat phase. So like a fight one after the other. And then +1 to hit and wound if near enemy hero for all Beasts of Chaos wholly within 12 inches. That includes just any Beast of Chaos unit in general. It could be a Bulgor, it could be a Gorgon, just whatever, as long as it's wholly within 12 of the Beast Lord. And he's within 3 inches of an enemy hero. So he has to be near a hero, so it's a little tricky to get that off, but still, pretty strong. And that would mean that he also gets +1 to hit and wound. So he's 2x2s -1 for 2 damage, 6s to hit doing mortal wounds, and then round 2, -2 rend, and round 4, -3 rend. So you're essentially 5 attacks. If he's alive in round 4, it's 5 attacks, 2s/2s, -3, 2 damage, 6s to hit doing mortal wounds. Like, that's insane. He does only have 6 wounds, though, so I mean... But still. Next up, we have... Do I go this way? Uh-oh. No, we'll do the Gargant later. We do the Great Bray Shaman. He's got a 5-up save, used to be a 6. He's got 7 bravery, used to be 6. He has 3 attacks now, 3/3, 2 damage. So he can actually kind of beat somebody down with his staff. His old attack used to blow ass. It was like 1 attack for D3 damage, something terrible. So this, if they like leave you alone with like some shitty hero or something, he can actually, he can do a little bit of a dice. You can do like maybe like 2-4 damage. You don't know, especially if it's like round 4. He's got that -2 rend. If he's desperate, you can add 6 inches to the range of Ritual of Ruin actions. So this is actually also insane, because it gives you an 18-inch ward bubble. It gives you 18 inches to do D6 mortal wounds to just anything, including when you're off-board. So you could do like an 18-inch off-board D6 mortal wounds. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is important. If you say you have like only 2 wounds left, right? Say you got 2 wounds left and you try to do one of those D6 mortal wounds to something and kill it. If you roll the D3 that hurts yourself and you kill yourself, the thing does not happen. So you cannot kill yourself and then have a Ritual of Ruin go off. You have to be alive. That's an important thing I want to know. Then the Great Bray Shaman now have Devolve, which has been improved. Is casting value 7, range 18. Pick an enemy, roll 3d6 after any move, run, retreat, or charge. If roll is greater than their bravery, that max distance is halved until the next hero phase. So this is, like, insane. Because you just pick something... Say they have a unit that's like, I don't know. Like we'll say Chaos Chosen, right? They're already kind of slow. And so you pick them, and every time they try to move or run or retreat or charge, it's like, 3d6, yep, your movements have, your charges have, you know, already slow units are going to be just crippled. Like, they can't do anything. And then if you pick something with really low bravery, you're going to, you know, with 3d6, like, unless you're rolling snake eyes, you're probably going to pull it off. It's actually insane. Like, it feels like what they've done is they've given Beasts of Chaos a lot of utility to kind of play tricks and annoy people, right? It's like, I have 5-up saves and 6-up saves and like maybe some 4-up saves is my best, but I am going to slow you down. I'm going to annoy you. I'm going to taunt you over here and pull you away. I'm going to, you know, chip shot your heroes with mortal wounds. Like, they have so many annoying things they can do to deal with you that aren't just like straight up killing you. So I love it, man. It's great. Next, we have Gores. They have 6 bravery up from 5. They get 3 attacks each up from 1. 4s by 3s, 1 damage. They have 2 attacks if they have shields, but they get +1 to save, which on a charge, 3 up last strike if more models than an enemy unit. So I feel like you're just taking the 3 attacks anyway, because who cares about your save if you're making them last strike? Like, I'd rather just hit as hard as possible. But maybe that's just the way I play. There's probably some people that are like, I'll take the save. But whatever. Maybe if you're trying to use them more as like a decoy and just not die as much. Like, I don't know. And then you have your leader getting +1 attack. Your banner giving you a 5-up rally instead of a 6. And then your musician giving you +1 to run and charge, which is the same for Bestigors. And I believe Bulgors as well. Oh, wait, no. Bulgors don't have the 5-up rally. They have... they get to reroll their mortal wound thing. We'll get to that. So, Bestigors. So, really, Gores are vastly improved, is what I'm getting at here. Bestigors, 2 wounds up from 1. Huge. 7 bravery up from 6. They now have 2-inch range because their axes are actually big. So, it would make sense they had 2-inch range, and they now do. 2 attacks, 3 by 3 -1, 1 damage. Again, once that Herdstone starts popping off, that's 3 by 3 -2, 1 damage. Even the Gore is getting rend. And then late game, if these are still alive, you're getting to like -3, 1 damage, which is, it's going to start hitting. Same bonuses as the Gores. And their big thing is +1 to attack characteristic of enemy within 3 inches all-out defenses. So if you charge in with these Bestigors and your enemy's like, oh shit, I got all-out defense, you then get +1 to your attacks. So it's almost like the Bestigors see you like being like, I hold up my shield, and they're just like, I'm gonna hit harder. Like, I love that. I think it's such a cool thematic rule, and I think it's actually pretty fun. It kind of, you know, some people still might want all-out defense, but it adds a little incentive. Like, are you sure you want all-out defense? And if they don't, maybe you just beat them up anyway. Like, who knows? I'm checking the rally thing, actually. Yeah, they still rally on 5-ups. Okay. They have the same thing with the banner. I just wanted to make sure they still had the 5-up rally. And then, if you unleash hell into them, you are -1 to wound them. So, makes them a little bit harder to unleash hell into. So, honestly, both very good. Points going up, though. We'll get to points at the end of this. Ungors, big changes. My Ungor kind of looks like a Pokemon. I don't know, or just that weird thing in Kirby that floats around but has a beard in this. So, Ungors, 7-inch move up from 6. They now have 5-up save and 5 bravery. They have spears. So if you take the spear, it's got an 8-inch range attack, 4x4, 1 damage, and a 2-inch melee attack, 4x4, 1 damage. You can take the blades, which is also 4x4, 1 damage, but you get 2 attacks instead of 1. Big thing for Ungors. They now can retreat in combat. They have the old skink rule. Remember those skinks back in Age of Sigmar, like 2.0? They have it. So if you decide, hey, you know what? I gotta fight this Gorgon. It's gonna kill me. But you're trying to capture a point from some Ungors? Maybe you go fight that Gorgon, but it's like, oh, the Ungors are gonna retreat. And then they just retreat in combat, and they hold the point. And you don't get it because you needed to kill some Ungors. So now, you have to be like, I guess I have to kill the Ungors, or they're gonna retreat. And then the Gorgon over there is like, heh heh, and then he gets to beat you up. So, huge, actually. This is really big. This is, like, insanely strong. So I'm, you know, plus Ungors can play off this. You can charge in, and then, you know, somebody really doesn't want to fight your Ungors. So you can like charge into a point and then retreat this way, and you essentially get like a big movement in one phase from being able to retreat in combat. Retreating in combat is like insanely strong. So Ungors being able to do that is pretty wild. Ungor Raiders, 7-inch move, 5 bravery, 2 attacks, 12 inches, 4x4, 1 damage. Their melee is 5x5, 1 damage, and once per battle, they can shoot in ambush, so they can shoot off board. Obviously, you have to like pick a board edge, and then you can measure 12 inches from the board edge and shoot. So you get to shoot then, and then you get to ambush in, and then you get to shoot in the shooting phase. You get to shoot twice. So, pretty neat. And, yeah. Ungor Raiders and Ungors. Very good. Then, oh baby. The Bulgors and the Doom Bull. So, Doom Bull, 2 attacks, 4x4s, 2 damage. 2-inch attack, 3 attacks, 3x3, -1, 3 damage. Okay? So he's got 5 attacks. On the charge, he deals D3 mortal wounds on a 2-up. Unmodified 6s to hit. Deal mortal wounds equal to weapon damage. I was actually watching the Warhammer TV thing they did where it was Beast of Chaos versus Gitz. And I've studied these tomes for like 3.5 weeks now, so I know a lot. And when they were rolling Bulgor hits, they were rolling 6s to hit, and they weren't doing the mortal wounds, and I was like, they're not doing the mortal wounds. They're not doing the mortal wounds. Unless something changed, but it shouldn't have. They haven't said anything. So I think they were just missing that. But yes, so the Doom Bull and the Bulgors both get this. All of their 6s to hit deal mortal wounds equal to their weapon damage. Which is pretty wild. It used to be like your wounds, your 6s to wound deal a mortal wound in addition to your damage. That's what it used to be. This is like insanely better. Now, there's another crazy thing the Doom Bull can do. Warherd within 12 inches of an enemy and 3 inches away from enemy units can charge at the start of combat. So if you fail your charge and then you go to the combat phase, the Doom Bull can just be like, yo, get in here. And then you can try to charge again. Insanely strong, you might say. Like this, anytime you just get the charge in the combat phase, any combat phase, by the way, this can be your opponent's combat phase. Just any combat phase at the start of combat, you can charge for a command point with the Doom Bull. So Doom Bull's pretty good. In fact, I think the Doom Bull can do this to himself. I'm pretty sure he's a Warherd. Your Gorgon can charge with this. And the best part, Doom Bull's a Galician champion. Maybe one of the best Galician champions in the game at this point. Like, actually insanely good. You know, having 3 chances to do, like, you know, like, he's going to be 3 attacks, 3x3. Late game, he'd be -2 and -3. 3 damage with his 6s doing 3 mortal wounds each. And then your 6s on your horns with your 2 attacks also could do 2 mortal wounds. So, like... and then Bulgors on the charge, 2+ deals 1 mortal wound for every model in the unit, deal at the end of the phase. They do that because obviously if you charge in the charge phase, it gets a little wacky. So they make it so the mortal wounds happen at the end of the phase. It's kind of weird, but all right. Because like if you charge in the charge phase, it's just going to happen at the end of the charge phase, so whatever. But if you charge in the combat phase, it happens at the end of combat. It's weird. And they have the same thing. They also have, you can take Cleaving Axe, Paired Cleaving Axe, or Great Axe. Cleaving Axe gives +1 to your save, which is the same. They have the same profile they used to in the old book. Paired Cleaving Axes just gives you 1 more attack. So that versus the Great Axe really just depends. Like, do you want to roll for a bunch of 2 damage attacks, or do you want to go for the 2 hunk or 3 damage attacks? Just your preference. Then each one gets 2 attacks, 4x4, 2 damage. So overall, they're pretty crazy. I can see these guys just roasting everything, man. Then we have Gorgons. Ooh, boy. +2 their wounds characteristics. So they now have 16 wounds up from 14. They now do 7, 6, 5, 4 attacks. 4x2, -1, 3 damage. So they bracket far less than they used to. They used to bracket terribly. Now it is like 0 to 6 damage. In fact, I'm just going to pull it up for you. 0 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12, 13 plus. So, vastly improved. Doing 3 damage each. Then 2 attacks. Used to be 1. 4 by 2, -1 for d6 damage. Then you have Swallow Whole, which brackets 3, 2, 2, 1. After piling in, pick a value showed above units and roll a dice. If greater than the wound characteristic, they're dead. So you pick a unit within 3 inches after you've piled in, or 3 units within 3 inches. It's within 3 inches after you've piled in. And then you heal their wounds eaten. So let's say, again, you're charging in the Chaos Chosen, right? You're like, uh-oh, these things hit hard. But you pile into them, and you roll a 4, a 5, and a 6. You've just eaten 3 of them. They're dead, and you heal. Then you get to fight. However, if they, you know, if you're like fighting into them like this, right, then you're going to keep fighting. But if you charge into them from like this and they're like lined up back and they remove the front 3, then you can't fight because you can't reach the ones in the back. So you got to position well with this. But still, this move is insane. Like, you can eat heroes. I mean, you can also just eat some like shitty clan rats or like storm vermin or like whatever and heal 1 or 2. And just know you're going to eat them. But, I mean, when you start eating, like, 3 wound models that people pay a lot of points for just because you're, like, Gorgon hungry, it gets pretty wacky wild. So, the Gorgon also has his Monstrous Rampage, which is +1 rend, and he heals 3 wounds if enemy models are slain, which is also pretty good, because he gets up to -2 rend, and then if it's the 3rd battle round, -3 rend. -4 rend if you're in round 4. He gets a little wacky wild on top of his Swallow Whole ability. So I love this. I think it's thematic. Obviously the Gorgon up here just reaching down, just eating models. I love it. Then we have the new and improved Sigor. Folks, he still has his boulder and it's slightly less bad. So he's got +2 to his wounds, 12 inches on the boulder, 1 attack, 3 by 2, -2, 5, 4, 3, 2 damage. So no more D whatever damage, D6 or whatever. It's now a flat 5, and then it goes down to 4, then 3, then 2. And now instead of 4 by 2, it is 3 by 2. So thank God the first roll is not a 50-50 anymore. And if you all-out attack it and you're going crazy in the shooting phase, which if you have a lot of command points, maybe you do, you can get 2 by 2, -2. For some big flat damage. So boulder is improved, which is nice. Then his melee attack, vastly improved. 7, 6, 5, 4 attacks. 3 by 2, -1 for 2 damage. No longer is it 1 damage. I don't know why it used to be 1 damage, but thank God it is now 2 damage. Also going up with the Herdstone Rend, of course. He gets 2 unbinds, and if a wizard casts a spell within 30 inches, that's right, if they cast it, not if you unbind it, if they get to cast it and you don't unbind it, they take a mortal wound. So if there's like a big caster out there, like somebody casting like 3, 4 spells, they might take 3 to 4 mortal wounds. Like this army, man, it is insane. Also, he has a Monstrous Rampage to pick an endless spell within 6. Try to unbind it. If he unbinds it, he heals for the unbind value. So if you have a endless spell come up to you and hit you, you can just be like, I'm going to eat that. If it goes off on a 7 and you roll an 8, you eat the spell, it's gone, and you heal 8. So, it's pretty good. Then we have the Dragon Ogres. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth has Crackling Bolts, a new ranged attack. He used to not have this. 2d6 attacks, 3 by 3, -1, 1 damage. He has a melee attack. Well, numerous melee attacks. His axe, 5 attacks, 3 by 3, -1, 2 damage. Tails, 3 inches, d6, 3 by 3, 2 damage. 4 limbs, 4 attacks, 3 by 3, 1 damage. And then he gets 1 cast, 1 unbind, a 4+ spell ignore, and at the end of combat, on a 2-up, he deals d3 mortal wounds to each enemy within 3, and heals d3 on a 2-up as well. You get to do both of those. And then he has a lightning spell, 7 cast, 24 inches. He can heal D3, Thunderscorn D3. And then Dragon Ogres, also somehow better. They now have 1 weapon, thank God, 5 attacks, 2-inch range, 3x3, -1, 2 damage, and then claws, 2 attacks, 4x4, 1 damage. They also do the same end of combat thing, so on a 2-up deal D3, and then on a 2-up heal D3, which just adds a little more spice after you've hit them with, 15 attacks. Yeah, at -2 or -3 rend for 2 damage, 3s x3s. You know what I mean? Pretty good. And then, chipping in a little claw attacks. And if you charge, your 6s auto wound. 6s to hit, auto wound if you charge with these guys. So they have insane damage potential. Like, really good. And they still have their old profiles. Their saves are still pretty solid. I think it's like a 4-up. So one of the tankier things in this army. Really good. And finally, the last unit I'm going to go over here is the Chaos Gargan. He has an 8-inch move. It no longer brackets his movement, thank God. It does bracket his attacks, though. 1 attack is 2 inches, 5, 4, 3, 2 attacks, 3x3, 2 damage. 2 inches, 1 attack, 4x3, -2, 4, 3, 2, 1 damage, and 1 attack, 3x3, -1, D3 damage. You subtract 1 from save rolls for enemies within 3. That's right. This guy gives anything within 3 inches -1 to their save rolls. So not only is your rend insane, but now this guy charges in, and you're just -1 to save on top of the rend. So that's pretty wacky wild. And then if this guy's within 6 inches of a Beast of Chaos hero, he gets +1 to all his attacks. It used to be you had to be within 3 inches and whip him and he takes a mortal wound. Now it's just, nope. If he's within 6 inches of a hero, +1 to his all his attacks. So you can give this guy the spell that gives him +1 to monster attacks, and then he's with a hero. So then you're doing 8 attacks, 3x3, for essentially -1, 2 damage. 3 attacks, 4x3, -3 for 4 damage if he's not hurt. And then 3 attacks, 3x3, -2 for D3 damage. Obviously also scaling up with the Herdstone Rend, and then the subtract 1 from save rolls. So Chaos Gargan, insane value. And then that's pretty much it for everything. Obviously, there's many more War Scrolls. There's all the Tzeentch stuff. There's the Chaos Spawn. There's some of the other monsters. The Jabber Scythe is kind of okay for anybody that cares. He's not great. But I didn't want to go full on in. We're already 42 minutes in, and I've done a lot. Again, if you want to go check out the AOS coach, I know he does Battletome reviews. They're really good. Way more in-depth than this, but I really wanted to do something, and I didn't have the physical book, so I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna go wacky wild and do this Microsoft Paint draw up. I will go over some points real quick. Gores. Unit size 10, 110 points. Ungors. Unit size 10, 80 points. Both of them are general battle line. They can be battle line in anything. We have the Chaos Gargan, 145 points, which is insanely cheap. Insanely cheap for this Chaos Gargan that does all of this stuff for 145 points. Whew! Cygor is now 210. Gorgon is 240. The Beast Lord, 145. The Doombull, 160. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, 275. He's a pricey dragon. Great Bray Shaman, 95. Bestigors, 10 for 220. They went up, man. They are... they're up there. They're battle line if a Great Bray Shaman is general or Beast Lord. Bulgors are now 195. They're battle line if you have a Doom Bull. And then Dragon Ogres battle line if Dragon Ogre Shaggoths are general, and they cost 225. But honestly, they hit pretty hard, so I'm not too upset about it. And then Ungor Raiders, 10 for 115. And you can include, for each Ungor unit included in your army, you can take 1 Ungor Raider unit as battle line. So those are all the main points of everything I talked about, everything I've played, everything I've really, said. The other thing I'll mention real quick is the Doomblast Dirgehorn is now a casting value 6, range of 12. And it does -1 to wound rolls for everything within 6. It used to be, I think, -1 to hit for everything within 3. Now it is -1 to wound for everything within 6, and it goes up by 6 every round. So that can get pretty crazy. for only 30 points. And then 40 points is the Dire Flock, which now makes it so models can't issue rally or inspiring present commands while they're within 6 inches of this endless spell. No effect on Beast of Chaos. Same thing for the other thing, no effect on Beast of Chaos. And roll a dice each time an enemy model issues a command within 6 inches of its endless spell and a 5-up, that command is not received, and the command point that was spent to issue that command is lost. So that's pretty nutty. That's also casting on a 5, range of 12, and that's 40 points. And then the big flying Tauros thing is the same as it was, and it's 7 points. Or 70 points, not 7. I wish it was 7. Still does Last Strike, still insane, but there's so many other ways to get Last Strike now that it's wild. But overall, what a book, man. This is everything I've wanted and then some. I'm so happy to play this book. I'm ecstatic. It's so good. So hopefully you enjoyed this janky Beast of Chaos review. Like, comment, subscribe, and just go get some outdated Beast of Chaos models, man. They're back. And they're ready to go. Okay? Okay. See ya.